Hey everyone, welcome back to my UGC NET Criminology lecture series. Before starting today's topic, I want you to think about something very deeply. Sometimes in life, one mistake becomes bigger than the person himself or herself. Society forgets all the good things a person has done and remembers only that one wrong action. And many times people do not become criminals because of one mistake. They become criminals because society never allows them to return back with dignity. Now imagine this carefully. If a person is continuously insulted, rejected, and treated like a criminal forever, then after some time that person may stop trying to become a good again. But if society corrects the person, makes them realize their mistake, and still gives them the second chance, then there is a possibility of reform. And this exact idea became the foundation of one of the most important modern criminological theories, that is shaming theory. So in today's video, we will understand the complete concept of shaming theory in a very simple and interesting manner. We will discuss who gave the theory, its main ideas, types of shaming, detailed explanations, examples, some of the famous case studies, its criticism, and finally the conclusion. And trust me, once you understand this theory today, you will never forget it in your UGC NET exam. So let's begin. Shaming theory, which is also known as reintegrative shaming theory, was proposed by John Braithwaite in 1989 in his famous book Crime, Shame and Reintegration. John believed that shame is one of the strongest emotions in human society. Every human being wants acceptance, love, respect, and belongingness. People care about what their family thinks, what society thinks, and how others see them. According to Braithwaite, society's reaction to crime plays a very important role in deciding whether a person reforms or becomes more criminal. Now, this is the most important thing to understand here. John did not say that punishment alone controls crime. He believed that social reactions and emotional responses are equally powerful. According to the theory, when a person commits a crime, society can react in two different ways. One way helps in reforming the offender, while the other pushes the offender deeply into criminal behavior. These two reactions are called reintegrative shaming and disintegrative shaming or stigmatization. Now let us understand them one by one in a very simple way. First one, that is reintegrative shaming, means society condemns a wrongful act but still accepts the offender as a human being. The person is made to realize that the act was very wrong, but society still believes that he or she can improve and return back as a responsible member. In simple words, society says what you did was very wrong, but you are not permanently bad. This type of shaming creates guilt, emotional realization, and a sense of responsibility. The offender feels ashamed of the act and tries to correct himself or herself. On the other hand, disintegrative shaming attacks the entire identity of the person. Society labels the offender as very dangerous, useless, immoral, or criminal forever. Instead of correcting the behavior, society rejects the individual completely. Here, society says you are a criminal and you will always remain a criminal. This permanent rejection creates anger, frustration, isolation, and sometimes more criminal behavior. And this is the core idea of shaming theory. Now let us understand this with some of the examples. Imagine a young delivery boy working in a city. His family is financially weak, and one day he steals a customer's expensive mobile phone because he urgently needs money for his mother's medical treatment. Later he gets caught. Now society has two choices. The first choice is that people start insulting him publicly, calling him a thief everywhere, refusing him jobs, humiliating his family, and treating him as a criminal forever. Slowly, the boy begins to feel that society will never trust him again. He loses hope and may eventually enter the criminal world completely. This is disintegration. But now imagine another situation. The police, family, and society condemn the theft seriously, make him apologize, ask him to return the phone, and counsel him properly. At the same time, they help him find legal work and emotionally support his family situation. The boy now feels guilty for the act, but he also feels that society still accepts him as a human being. This is reintegrative shaming, and according to John, second approach is more effective in reducing future crime. Now, this point is very important for your exam. Please remember this carefully. Reintegrative shaming condemns the crime but not the criminal. This line can directly help you in descriptive answers. Now, let us go deeper into the theory. John believed that societies with strong family bonds, emotional attachment, and community relationships usually experience lower crime rates. Why? Because people fear losing emotional respect and social relationships. For example, let us take our Indian families. Children avoid wrongdoing not only because of legal punishment but because they do not want to disappoint their parents or bring shame to the family. Emotional attachment itself becomes a form of social control. This is why the theory fits very well in the Indian social context. Indian society is deeply connected with family honor, community respect, and social image. Here, social acceptance matters a lot. Therefore, shame can become a powerful force in controlling behavior. Now, let's discuss some Indian case studies connected with this theory. One important example can be seen in the juvenile justice system in India. Many children involved in minor offenses are not treated as permanent criminals. Instead, juvenile homes and reform institutions focus on counseling, education, skill development, and emotional rehabilitation. The idea behind this approach is very similar to reintegrative shaming. The child is corrected, but society still believes that the child can improve. Now let us take one more example. In many rural areas of India, small disputes and minor offences are sometimes resolved through community meetings or village mediation systems. Elders ask the offender to apologize publicly, compensate for the damage, and promise not to repeat the mistake. After this, the offender is accepted back into the community. This process reflects reintegrative shaming because the act is condemned, but the person is not temporarily rejected. Now let us discuss a very important issue connected with stigmatization in India. Many former prisoners face several discrimination after release from jail. Even after completing their legal punishment, society often refuses to give them jobs, housing, or respect. People continue labeling them as criminals forever. Due to this social rejection, some released prisoners struggle to survive and may return to crime again. This situation supports John's argument that permanent stigmatization increases the chances of recidivism, that is nothing but the repetition of committing the crime or the repeated offending. Now let us discuss another modern example related to cybercrime. In recent years, several teenagers in India became involved in online fraud, fake accounts, hacking, or digital scams. In some cases, schools and families handle the matter through counseling, awareness, supervision, and emotional correction rather than complete social humiliation. Many of these young individuals later return to normal education and responsible lives. Again, this reflects reintegrative shaming. Now, let us understand the main concepts of the theory in greater detail. The first major idea is that crime is influenced by social relationships. Human beings are emotional creatures. Acceptance and respect matters deeply to them. Therefore, strong emotional bonds reduce criminal tendency. The second idea is that the reaction of society shapes future behavior. If society reacts with support and reintegration, reform becomes possible. If society reacts with humiliation and rejection, criminal identity becomes stronger. The third idea is that most offenders are capable of reform. John did not believe that every criminal is permanently dangerous. Many offenders commit crimes due to temporary situations, emotions, peer pressure, or social problems. The fourth idea is that the public humiliation without reintegration is very dangerous. Excessive shame can destroy self esteem and push individuals towards isolation. Now, let us compare reintegrative and disintegrative shaming in a simple manner. In reintegrative shaming, the act is criticized and the offender is respected as a human being, and society allows them to re enter and reform in their lives. It also reduces future crime. Whereas in disintegrative shaming, the offender is permanently labeled and society rejects the individual completely throughout their life. And because of this, the person develops anger and isolation, which may in turn increase recidivism, or it may increase future crime. Now let us discuss the criticism of the theory, because criticism is very important in your preparation. The first criticism is that the theory may not work equally in all societies. In modern urban societies, people may not have strong emotional bonds with neighbors or communities. Therefore, the social shame may not influence everyone equally. The other criticism is that shame can sometimes become psychologically harmful. Excessive humiliation may create depression, anxiety, emotional trauma, or suicidal thoughts instead of reform. The third criticism is that the powerful people often escape social shame easily, while poor and marginalized people suffer greater humiliation. Therefore, social reactions may become unequal. Yet another criticism is that theory focuses more on emotions and social relationships but gives less attention to poverty, unemployment, corruption, and economic inequality. Another criticism is that hardened criminals or organized offenders may not care about this shame at all. Some offenders may even feel pride instead of guilt. Despite these criticisms, shaming theory remains one of the most influential modern criminological theories because it focuses on humanity, rehabilitation, emotional connection, and social integration rather than only. Today, many criminal justice systems across the world are slowly moving towards restorative justice, victim offender mediation, community correction, counseling, and rehabilitation programs. All these ideas are closely connected with John's theory, and honestly, this theory teaches society a very important lesson. Justice is not only about punishing people. Sometimes saving a person from becoming a lifelong criminal is itself a form of justice. Now, before concluding, I want to say something to every UGC NET aspirant watching this video. Your preparation journey may sometimes feel stressful, slow, or confusing. Some days you may feel confident, and there will be some days where you will feel completely exhausted. But remember one thing, consistency always defeats fear. Even if you study one theory properly every day, slowly your confidence will grow automatically. Do not compare your journey with others. Focus on understanding concepts deeply, and success will definitely come. Now let us conclude the topic. Shaming theory, proposed by John Braithwaite, explains how society's reaction to crime can either reform offenders or push them further into criminal behavior. Reintegrative shaming focuses on condemning the wrongful act while still accepting the offender back into society. It encourages guilt, responsibility, and rehabilitation. In contrast, disintegrative shaming permanently labels and rejects offenders, increasing the risk of future crime. The theory highlights the importance of emotional bonds, social acceptance, and human dignity in crime prevention. And that is why shaming theory is considered one of the most humane and socially relevant theories in modern criminology. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this lecture useful for your UGC NET preparation, then do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Keep studying, keep believing, and remember, your hard work today is building your future success tomorrow. I will see you in the next video.